Giant 96 Real Radio. I'm Penny Lane, getting excited. A trip with Penny Lane today. We have very, very special guest. And first, I would like to welcome from the Butch Ellis Foundation, Mr. Matt Worton. How are you doing, Matt?
Great. Beautiful day. It's starting to warm up. Can't complain.
It is a beautiful day. Now, I always feel funny like asking, my friends, tell us about the Butch Ellis Foundation. But somebody listening might not know what the Butch Ellis Foundation is. Right here from Morristown, Indiana. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. I'd love to. Started in 2001. My grandfather, Gary Butch Ellis, approached me and my cousins about starting a cornhole tournament to raise money for a family friend of ours who was in a car accident, left him paralyzed from the neck down. So we were going to do a cornhole tournament, but unfortunately my grandpa passed away before we could put the tournament on. So we went ahead with the benefit, raised $1,000 in his honor, and we've done it ever since. In 2014, I took it upon myself to create the foundation, the Butch Ellis Foundation, and it's grown ever since. We went from raising $1,000 our first year to last year raised over $20,000 with the benefits we're getting ready to talk about, then over $30,000 for the year, and actually helped 42 kids from 15 different families, bought them Christmas this year.
And it's so amazing what you've done. Morristown's not a huge town.
No.
How many people would you say are in your foundation, the Butch Ellis Foundation?
I'd say, most of our immediate family, we got, probably about 20 people in my immediate family that help out. Then, people like D.L. Sanders and even yourself that do things here and there for us. So we probably got a good group of 30 people that help us out.
And you've just did so many amazing things and raised a lot of money. I've done fundraisers before, and it's extremely hard to make. I think even to make $500 or $1,000 takes a lot. And here you're, doing astronomical amounts.
Hey,
so.
Defying the odds. Even people even people in Morristown approach me like, how you doing this? I said, well, I went to school for marketing, so if you give me something to promote, I'm going to get people there, and I'm going to get people to donate. That's what I do.
Well, thank you for doing what you do. Now, let's talk about something that's coming up. Last year was a lot of fun. Giant 96 was very happy to be there and be part of it, and that would be the Battle of the Bands. Let's talk about that. Tell me about it.
Yes, last year was huge. This year, bigger and better. May 14th. Last year we had 6 bands. This year we have 8 bands in the battle, headlined by last year's winner, Black Dolly. So we got 8 bands competing in the battle. Then the 9th band will be Black Dolly, will headline. If you'd like, I can tell you some of the bands. We got Highway 44, Backseat Animal, Frog Magic, the Joe Tellman Band, Don Stuck, 10 Strings, 1 Kit, Makeshift Tragedy, Imaginary Playmate, and Werewolf with a Shotgun.
And what are they competing for? What are they battling it out?
$1,000.
$1,000. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, especially for a local band. Trying to make it. I guess $1,000 can get them a new equipment or just travel for gigs outside of Shelbyville. So or a nice little payday. It can be drinking money for them too.
Be drinking money. Give them some ideas.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about your judges.
Okay, first and foremost, we got Chris Lights Out Lytle, who has joined me today from
Ooh.
UFC legend.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
We got Rupert, Mayor Tom DeBon, and, of course, you. So all the fans, we had about 500 people in attendance last year. We have a fan vote, and basically it is you put money in a box, and that way you can vote for a band. And that way, and we split those boxes with the bands. That way every band goes home with some money, at least some gas money to get them there. Then, of course, the rest goes to the foundation. So we need as many people there as possible. Last year we had 500. I'm shooting for 1,000. So definitely need you guys to check out our website, butchellisfoundation.org. There's a store button, and you can buy tickets. They're only $10 this year. Buy them now because they're $15 at the gate. So save some money, buy them now.
Now, also, too, where will the proceeds be going this year? What charities did you pick?
We have 2 beneficiaries, the first being Morristown Boys and Girls Club because, self-founded Boys and Girls Club. They need as much help as they can get. And, of course, the guy sitting to the right of me, Chris Lights Out Lytle on his foundation, the Chris Lytle Foundation.
Well, welcome.
Hey.
I've never had an Ultimate Fighting champion sitting in the studio before. So
you haven't? I figured they were all over the place.
No,
okay.
No.
Well,
and
hopefully I won't disappoint.
I know Don Stuck's listening, and you are the most famous guy in New Pal.
You hear that, Don? You hear it? She said it, not me. I'm not making this stuff up. This is kind of a well-known fact.
He would have to be like number 2. Sorry, Don.
Well, good job, Don.
We love him, though. How about the most famous guy on the radio? We could say that,
There
right?
you go.
Yeah?
See, Don, you got that.
So awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally?
Indianapolis. Grew up on the south side of Indianapolis. Sports, played sports there. Went to school there. Went down to IU, and I live in New Pal now. So right around the corner from here.
How did you get interested in fighting? How'd that come about?
Well, I used to get beat up a lot. No, I was a
like,
wrestler.
did you really?
I was a
How'd you
wrestler, and after you get done with wrestling, there's really you can't go professional in wrestling unless it's fake, and we don't do that. So I was done doing high school wrestling, and one of my friends said, I'm doing this thing, and they called it shoot fighting, and said it was kind of like wrestling, but you could punch people and choke people. So that sounded like a great idea. I did it, and I was good right away. So I like to do things I'm good at. Like, I remember I tried to play the guitar once for about 2 weeks, and I wasn't good at it. I quit. So, but I was good at the fighting right away, so I continued to stick with that.
Now, you were also a coach in New Pal?
Yeah. I have a lot of different things I do. I've been on the fire department for about 15 years now. I was a coach at New Pal. We just had a guy named Chad Redd who won 4 state titles in a row, never lost, 183-0, ranked first in the country. I don't think we ever had anybody here ranked first in the country. So that was a great accomplishment. Good job, Chad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. I'd like to think it was because of me, but it wasn't. He was good before I was around, and he'll be good after I'm gone. So good job, Chad.
I'm sure having you as a coach had its pluses.
I would like to think so.
Helping his journey.
There you go. I'll take credit for that.
There we go. So, tell me a little bit about your foundation and why you started it.
Okay, I started the foundation. A lot of different reasons. Main ones is just a realization and awareness of how unfair it is when people are being picked on, bullied, made feel bad, self-esteem issues. I know that Indiana is one of the major states when it comes to attempted suicides. It's one of the top 1 or 2 has been the last few years. And as a parent, I can't think of anything worse than having your child be that depressed where they would like to take their own life. So I like to go out, go to schools, go to different areas and talk to kids about not only being nice to other people, but that's really not realistic, but I like to talk to people about standing up for people who are being picked on, who are being mistreated. And, I get very upset when I see clips on the internet of people who are being picked on, beat up, and people are standing there and they're recording it with their phone. I'm thinking, put your phone down and stop this from happening. One person in this crowd, have some guts and stand up. And that kid who you just stood up for will worship you for the rest of his life. And that's what we're trying to get people to do for stand up for other kids. And I wrote a book for it called Lights Out on Bullying, and I like to give that out at schools as much as I can to at least get one in each classroom to try and where, if a kid remembers my speech a little bit, and then if they see that book, then it kind of all comes home, and they remember it, and then they can act on it.
What do you think causes the children to bully somebody?
That's kind of what causes kids to do that. Nobody's really happy and confident and wants to make other people feel bad. I mean, a lot of times it's people with their own insecurities, and it's kind of with the saying of misery loves company. Well, when they know that they don't feel good, but they make somebody feel worse, they're like, at least I feel better than that person. So, and I don't think they consciously think that. It's just a subconscious thing. They just know that they feel better about themselves when somebody else feels worse, and the attention's not on them; it's on this person who's made to feel bad. So I don't ever see anybody who's really happy, confident, having a great time, but then it's one of the people to feel bad. That's usually not the case. So it's usually their own insecurities that is being manifested by bringing it out against other people.
And as a parent, what advice would you offer to parents when you're raising your children to talk to them about bullying so their child doesn't end up being the person doing the bullying?
Well, once again, that unfortunately, it all starts at home. And that's a learned behavior sometimes from home, and you just have to make sure the kids are as confident and as well-adjusted as possible. But, you and I both know, me being on the fire department for 15 years, I go into houses every day and I see where this child is not being taken care of properly, getting the proper guidance, love, whatever it might take for them to be confident people. And it's going to be very hard for us to understand that mindset when that kid, that's all they know. And they're not going to just, because I tell them to be nice, they're not going to do it. That's why I'm trying to tell them, it's better to be looked up to. It's better to be admired for what you can do to help somebody. They can understand that. They can understand, I want to be looked up to. I want to be a hero, and try and tell them how people who stood up for me when I was a kid, I look up to them now, and it's been 30 years since then. So I'm trying to put forth that message that can resonate with the kid as opposed to telling them to be nice to each other.
And I had no idea that Indiana's was ranked one of the top.
Yeah,
That's
it was
terrible.
one of the top 4 suicides and one of the top 4 attempted suicides, or thoughts of suicide, I should say.
Is that for children or just straight across for everybody?
That's a pretty good question. I'll have to look into that. But I just know the suicide stats.
I mean, it's terrible either way. I
just think a majority of the situations are with people, of a younger age. So
in bullying, I was bullied when I was a kid, and it does seriously affect you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always worried about people being mad, because I went from Chicago to move to Avon,
Uh-huh.
and to this day, I don't like Avon. It wasn't like it was today,
Yeah.
but I remember in the teachers, but there was some positive in it. But in my mind, I wiped the whole town of Avon
Sure.
out as bad.
Yeah.
And then
what's funny too, if you look at, I studied a thing about Ted Kaczynski, and it says how this guy was just a brilliant man, and he was moved up to high school when he was like 13 years old, so he was so smart. But he was obviously kind of weird and different because he was that smart, and he was in high school, so people said he was bullied and picked on constantly. So in this guy's mentality, he didn't like people. People were bad. People made him feel bad. And, this is a guy who was so smart. Maybe if people encouraged him, he could have, worked towards curing cancer, done some great things for society. But what did he do? He bought a cabin out in the middle of the woods, and he built bombs and blew people up, because he had a negative connotation towards people. He had a negative idea. Well, this is what happened. I mean, if you're a product of your environment to some extent, and those scars you were talking about in your mentality, how you think of Avon, he thought of the world like that, and he had the ability to do something, so he did.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to avoid.
But I do remember the one guy that stuck up for me
Really?
at Avon. His name was David Broughton, and
See,
he
you
was a
still remember.
popular guy, right?
And he
and he stood up
fantastic.
for me. I remember that when you said that, I was like, yeah, I remember when he stood up for me, and he was like, hey, in class, and it made me feel good. And he was the
Exactly.
popular cute guy doing it,
See,
so I was like, oh.
That's what I'm wanting to get. I'm trying to target, athletes, people who the kids look up to. If I get the captain of the football team to start standing up for other kids, it'll be the popular, cool thing to do, and then it might take off a little bit more. So that's kind of, I did an event at Warren last year where I just spoke to the athletes, and it was really neat because I think it was on Martin Luther King. They were off, and they came into the school, and I talked with a lot of them. It was nice.
Well, awesome. We're going to take a short break. Come back. Like to talk to you guys a little bit more. And Matt, what can people do right now? Where can they go to get tickets?
First and foremost, go to Facebook, like us on Facebook, just search for the Butch Ellis Foundation. And if you'd like to buy tickets, you can go to butchellisfoundation.org, and we have a store on there. Or you can hit up some places in Shelbyville like Willie Farkle's, Mickey's Tea Mart, or the Rue Morgue Tattoo Gallery.
All right, stay tuned. More coming up. Giant 96, returning to an interview. We're pretty excited. The Butch Ellis Foundation is having a huge event out at the Skyline, the second annual Battle of the Bands. And with me, I have Mr. Matt Worton and Mr. Chris Lytle. Welcome both of you back to the show.
Thank you.
Right on.
And thank you both for coming in today. So what can our listeners do to help support the Butch Ellis Foundation, which in return is sponsoring, or you called it beneficiaries, right?
Yes.
This year for Battle of the Bands. Tell us again who that is.
Oh, first, we got the Morristown Boys and Girls Club. So Scott Sparr's doing great things. He's really impressed me since he's been directing the
He's doing
Boys and Girls
awesome.
Club.
Yeah.
Amazing job. And I just want to help him accomplish all of his goals. And, of course, the guy to my right, Lytle was a professional athlete, has a very unique opportunity to help people out other than, shooting a basketball, or in his case, punching people and choking them out.
A little different.
He's got a unique opportunity to help people, and he's really took advantage of that. So.
And you said, we talked a little bit before the interview, and how he's an athlete that's using his career in a positive fashion.
Yes,
to help others.
Yeah, I mean, all you hear about is guys like Lamar Odom, who, we won't get into that, but
Yeah. Jamal Tinsley.
right. It should be guys like Chris that are in the spotlight for doing good things, and unfortunately, it's not. So, and that's why I want to help him as much as I can.
Well, and the good thing too, I know I've done some stuff with the Boys and Girls Club. Scott does do great things, and the problem is, I mean, you don't understand. We talked about earlier having a positive influence on people and the kids who don't have quite the home life they should. People like Scott are what's making a difference in a lot of people's life. So there is a lot that is needed from there, and the Butch Ellis Foundation is doing a great thing to help Scott with what he needs. I mean, there's only so much money that goes out there, and he only gets so much money, and he has to generate it other ways, and he will do it. I've seen. Well, didn't he dress up like a woman once and try to earn money to do stuff? So, I mean, he had me come in and talk to the kids, and he wanted to make sure each kid got a book, and he had to do things like that to earn the money. So I would love to, anything we can do to support him is great. So, I'm just excited to be part of this battle of the bands, and anything we can do to get people to come listen to music. I mean, how can you not support local people and local bands? One of these might turn into something big one day. You can say, hey, I saw him here on the Butch Ellis Foundation event, the Battle of the Bands. It could be great.
Now, I just had a crazy idea.
Let's hear it.
All right. Well, it's sort of spur of the moment, but, Don Stuck always tell us the story about Don Stuck that you were talking about, Chris.
Oh, Don likes to tell everybody when I see him, he goes, hey, there's Chris. That's the second most popular guy in New Pal. So that's me, apparently. I don't know.
And the cool thing is, on May the 14th, not only will Chris be there doing autographs, and hopefully you'll have your books with you, right?
Absolutely.
But Don Stuck is also in
the battle.
In the battle.
Yes.
Whoa.
So wouldn't
right.
it be cool if the two of you maybe did your little arm wrestling thing he wants to see?
It's on. It's on. I'm going to start working on this right now.
We'll have to. That might get some people there.
I'll wear my
That
ref
would
out.
be sort of fun.
There you go.
Well, you could have like a little title for it and everything.
Yeah, a little tiny belt that goes around your arm.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, we've definitely, I guess, stepped it up from last year because we're going to have a cornhole tournament there as well. We normally do have our cornhole tournament at our later event in the year, which is July 23rd this year, but we're going to have another cornhole tournament at the battle this year.
Now, do you sign that up for that ahead of time, or is that something you just do when you get there?
Just come up, say you want to play cornhole, and guess what? You're in.
You guys are real professionals at this cornhole too, right?
I know.
Take
Well,
it pretty seriously, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to because that's kind of how we got our start. So that was
Yeah.
kind of a thing. No matter what we do, we're going to have the cornhole tournament, just because that's how we got our start.
Well, and this year, first time, I think you have a motorcycle ride, correct?
Yes.
I'm excited about that because I have a motorcycle. I think Don has a motorcycle.
Oh, that's
Yep.
cool.
There's some good people in the ride.
Yeah, our July 23rd event, we're actually having a motorcycle ride that leads up to the event. We're having a car show. We're having a kids grappling tournament. So that's where Chris comes in. He's going to teach the kids how to
A little jiu-jitsu.
wrestle,
That's what it is.
jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
wrestle, So there's a lot that goes into grappling, but we won't get too technical. But yeah, so it's bigger and better this year. That's what I want to focus on. So.
And on the 14th, not only the music, but there's a triple movie feature included.
Oh, absolutely.
Camping, right? They
Yes.
can camp, which is always fun. And the live and silent auction and the cornhole tournament. So.
Yes, I just want to send a
Awesome.
special thanks to the Skyline. Joe's been amazing in helping us this year. He doesn't charge us anything to be out there. So we have a triple movie feature after the battle. So you get to watch 3 movies and you get to camp out, all for $10. Can't beat that. Oh, not to mention kids under 11 are half price for $5. So get your tickets now in advance, please, because you're going to save yourself $5. Makes sense, right?
I mean,
Yes.
when you look at all this office, how can you not go to it? I mean, you're a fool not to, is the way I look at it. So don't be a fool.
Fun for all the
Exactly. Movies, cornhole, camping. I mean, what else is there? Bands? Jeez, come on.
Yep. And Willie Farkles will be supplying the drinks. So, again, we have fun for all.
I like
ages.
drinks. I'll be there. I'm coming now. That's it.
Don will like the drinks too.
Oh, yeah.
But this is something too that it is at the Skyline, nice place. I have to say this: last year, you guys it was beautiful. Like walking out there Saturday morning and seeing everyone from the Butch Ellis Foundation working to put it together with the tie dyes and just your family and all the volunteers. It was a beautiful thing to be part of.
Yes,
So,
and I got a funny story to tell because I have not a pacemaker on my phone, but it counts my steps. And I
Same
took
thing.
30,000 steps last year at the Battle of the Band. So that's how
Did
much
you
I
really?
worked my butt off. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So you're gonna make it try to
Yeah, I'm
increase
gonna try to
that
beat
number
that.
this year?
Yeah.
31,000.
So I walked like 8. I walked like 18 miles last year. So I'm gonna try to walk 36 this year. So
Man, you don't want to go too high because then you can't beat it the next year. Maybe 19.
Telling you how to pace yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You want to beat it every year.
Yeah.
Well, I actually passed out during the second movie. I was so tired too, so I was kind of disappointed there.
See, well, you're doing good. I can't
Right.
make it through any movies. Period. Well, Matt and Chris, thank you guys so much for coming in today, and thank you for what you do in our community and making the world
Absolutely.
a better place.
Well, thank you for letting us come talk with
Yes,
you guys.
thank you.
Come back and see us sometime.
Oh, I will.